Hello once again, welcome back to my second video on setting up a table in Design View. As I told you in the previous video that we are going to look at data types. When you set up a table, you will notice that this column of data types becomes populated automatically with some values. What are some of these values? For example, the first field, student ID, is marked by the data type auto number, then the rest are given text. When you click on the data type field, there is a drop down list which displays a list of data types. We want to know when are all of these used. Let us dive into our table where this description falls. Now if I'm to use the data type of text, this means that column will support alphanumeric data, that is a combination of letters and numbers up to 255 characters. If I'm to use memo, this will support the same as text, alphanumeric data up to 64,000 or so characters. Number is for numeric data, supports numbers only. Date and time supports date and time entries. Currency for money figures which are given decimal points at the end, which can be adjusted to the user preference. Auto number uniquely assigns a value in a serial order to each new record, as we shall see when we get into our business with the table in Design View. Yes or no, it gives a Boolean expression of true or false, which you shall see, to prompt you to either pick yes or no by putting a checkbox. By clicking in the checkbox, you will mean yes, and the box will be given a tick. And if you choose to say no, you leave the box unchecked. Array object, standing for objects linked and embedded, inserts pictures, charts, and other ActiveX objects from Windows-based applications. The Lookup Wizard, in this case a user defines a drop-down list from which a data entrant selects options. It's a pre-designed list by a user from which you pick instead of physically typing in the data as you do in text and memo. Hyperlink, this creates an address to a file or to the internet or to your local network or to the local computer. So you link or you can access other files on the computer through this option. Then we have an option called the calculated field. Here you can set formulas to calculate data automatically in your table. So these are some of the data types which we use to do work in Access. Now let us try to dive back into our table and try to set these data types. So student ID, if we leave it at auto number, this will automatically number for us the entries or the students. First name or student's first F name, we can call this the student registration number. Then F name to stand for first name, L name to stand for last name, sex, that is the gender of the student, DOB to stand for date of birth, semester, in what semester that student is in, and the department can be a faculty under which a student is enrolled. Now coming back to the data types, let's leave student ID as auto number, student's first name as text, last name as text. As the sex, you are going to choose the lookup wizard, and we see how exactly this works. So we'll come to the lookup wizard, then Access will ask us what we want to do. We'll say I will type in the values I want, since we don't have any values typed in yet, so we'll have to type in the values we want. Inside this we shall have the female and the male, and we say next. To show us the name, then here it says, do you want to limit the entries to the choices? If you say limit to list, then you will only be able to pick from the list given. If you say allow multiple values, you can choose from the list or put your own figures. But now let us limit it to the list, then we say finish. Notice that it remains text, though it still remembers that you've chosen to use the lookup wizard. Date of birth or DOB, we choose date stroke time. Semester can still remain text. The faculties, we can still use the lookup wizard to do this. Then you say I will type in the values I want. Then we can have business and professional. Then we say next. Shall still limit to the list, then we say finish. Supposing we had another column for fees paid. In this case, we shall choose currency as our data type, and this is the fees or the tuition. One page. We can say room number, and here we shall say number. This is the student room number. So basically this is how we set up a table with the field names, the data types, and the description. So when we go back to view, datasheet view, of course you have to save the changes. You'll notice that all of these columns have been set up for us, ready to be filled. Let us try to fill in an entry. So here we shall say James Doe. When I come here now, you see the drop down list because we chose the lookup wizard. Say male is maybe 12 1990, is in the first semester, is in the Department of Business. You still notice the lookup wizard is dropping after our list. The fees paid maybe $200. The room number is 112. Notice that since we said auto number here, student ID is already giving it number 1. The moment we come to Jane, you notice that now it names it 2 automatically. Jane Doe, who's female, maybe she's 1992. She's also semester 1 and maybe under vocational, and she's paying 150 in room 131. So that is basically how we set up our table in design view. Then we come and populate it in datasheet view. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like.